Graham Souness tells Mohamed Salah to leave in brutal Liverpool verdict. Single biggest reason Liverpool legend Graham Souness believes Mo Salah is the major reason behind the Reds' struggles this season and that the Egyptian should leave Anfield this summer. Liverpool legend Graham Souness reckons Mo Salah ought to depart Anfield this summer after pointing the finger at the Egyptian for the Reds' struggles. The defending Premier League champions have suffered a challenging campaign under Arne Slot, tumbling to fifth place. They could yet salvage the season with a top-four finish and two trophies, the FA Cup and the Champions League, but it has been an extremely demanding title defence. Salah has likewise endured a testing season in front of goal, netting merely 5 times in the Premier League. Discussing his form to Mail Online, Reds icon Souness stated, "What happens in my opinion and in my experience is your career happens one of two ways. When you get to that sort of 33, 34 age area, it's either falling off a cliff or it's a slow decline. I think Salah is the former. I went to see the very first game of the season, the Community Shield against Crystal Palace, and I was sitting next to my young son. I said, I don't know what's wrong with him, and then I thought maybe he needs half a dozen games to get up to speed. But he's never improved. His numbers tell you that. His numbers are way down, and he is the single biggest reason why Liverpool is having an indifferent season. Because within that group of players, there'll be some who are feeling the pain, some are feeling the negativity that's around the place, and they're not responding very well to it. And when you're in that position, you need big players to stand up and be counted. And I think that's been a bit of a shock to Liverpool supporters, the manager and coaching staff, that those guys have not done that. Souness continued his critique of Salah by suggesting that he is the primary cause of the Reds' challenging season, reports the Mirror. When asked if the forward should depart this summer, he simply responded, yes. Souness further commented, his best is behind him now, there's no doubt about that. The first person to know that is yourself, and it happens to everyone. I don't see the same sparkle. I think if you're looking for the single biggest reason for Liverpool's shaky form, it's because he's not been getting the numbers. He's been for 6-7 years the Liverpool go-to man. He has completely changed games when it wasn't going their way, and he has scored a ridiculous number of goals every season. He's a Liverpool great, but his best season is behind him. Richard Hughes is about to make a £68 million mistake at Liverpool. Richard Hughes' time as Liverpool's sporting director has been received in many ways. Fans are often split when asked about his time with the Anfield outfit. After the summer transfer window that the Reds had last time around, it certainly feels like he made up for his shortcomings in the 2024-25 season. Several players that Hughes brought in during the 2025-26 summer transfer window have had a positive impact on the team, but there are a few who still have question marks hanging over their heads. However, despite his recent signings delivering a mixed bag of results, it hasn't stopped him from already preparing for what the next summer window is going to be like. Many players have already been linked with an Anfield switch. However, there's one recent rumour that has emerged which could end up being a massive mistake. Liverpool set to activate the £68 million release clause for Sporting CP striker Luis Suarez. One thing that has been made abundantly clear this season is that Liverpool needs to add some new attackers to their ranks. The Anfield outfit have failed to deliver on more than one occasion this term, with players such as Alexander Isak and even Jeremy Frimpong failing to live up to the standards expected of them. This has resulted in many rumours emerging, and now, according to Spanish outlet Fichajes, it seems like Hughes is about to activate the £68 million release clause that Sporting CP striker Luis Suarez has in his contract. The striker's impressive form has not gone unnoticed in England. Liverpool is one of the clubs that has shown the most interest in acquiring his services, they wrote. At Anfield, they're looking to bolster their attack with a proven player, and Luis Suarez fits the bill perfectly. His experience, his goal-scoring instinct, and his ability to compete at the highest level make him a very serious option. The English club is seriously considering paying his release clause, set at €80 million. A high figure, but in line with his current performance. Liverpool cannot sign Luis Suarez for £68 million, although the Colombian may have the same name as a Liverpool legend. That doesn't mean that the 28-year-old would be a smart signing. One of the only areas Liverpool doesn't need more players for is striker, due to the club already having Isak and Hugo Ekitike at their disposal. Other players such as Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo can also be used there if needed. Not only is the Colombian entering the latter stages of his career, but history has also shown that signing the Liga Portugal's hottest attacking prospect rarely ever works out. Darwin Núñez and Victor Gyökeres are both examples of this, with neither of them meeting expectations after moving to the Premier League. Suarez may have netted 32 goals across all competitions this term, but seeing as though Isak will more or less be a new signing for Arne Slot, it doesn't make all that much sense for Liverpool to bring him in. Indeed, his experience would likely help him get adjusted to the Premier League quicker than a youngster, since there are many other areas of Slot's team that still need upgrading before their striker, Hughes, activating the 28-year-old's release clause doesn't make much sense at all. Liverpool news: Reds bosses forced into U-turn as Trent Alexander-Arnold suffers blow. Liverpool's owners have performed a dramatic U-turn. While there's bad news for former Red Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool will face Brighton on Saturday afternoon, with the mood around the club transformed. Arne Slot's side hit Galatasaray for 4 on Wednesday evening in the second leg of their Champions League last 16 encounter to reach the quarter-final. A dominant display at Anfield looks to have pushed recent struggles to the back of fans' minds. However, the Reds know they cannot slip up against the Seagulls with qualification for next year's Champions League hanging in the balance. FSG U-turn. Liverpool owners FSG have abandoned plans to launch a multi-club model despite talks having taken place. FSG confirmed plans to purchase a second football club in 2024. The return of Liverpool's former sporting director Michael Edwards, who left in 2023 and rejoined in 2024 as chief executive of football, was also thought to be propelled by FSG's desire to secure another club. Early discussions were held, with as many as 25 clubs being put forward. French side Bordeaux were among the possibilities, while Spanish duo Malaga and Getafe, along with Monaco, were also considered. According to The Athletic, plans have been shelved, with no immediate indication that they will be revived anytime soon. President Mike Gordon had told staff back in 2024 that the approach had been launched. In an email to staff, he wrote, "To remain competitive, we must identify every avenue available to us to gain an edge. FSG have owned Liverpool since 2010 and has overseen arguably the club's most successful period in their modern history. The Reds have won 2 Premier League titles, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup and more since 2019. While plans for multi-club ownership are not progressing, FSG boasts several other sports teams in its portfolio, including MLB side Boston Red Sox. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been omitted from Thomas Tuchel's last England squad before this summer's World Cup. Despite an upturn in form at Real Madrid in recent weeks, the former Liverpool man did not make the Germans' expanded 35-man group for the friendlies against Uruguay and Japan. The defender has not played for England since a 1-0 win over Andorra in June, but speaking after Real's Champions League win on Tuesday, he revealed he hadn't given up hope of playing at this summer's World Cup. "I've not spoken to him, Tuchel, but I know the squad gets announced this week, so hopefully I get the call and I can play for my country, which is always the greatest honour," he told Amazon Prime. The right-back called time on his Liverpool career last year, having been at the Anfield club since the age of 6. He departed the Reds having won 2 Premier League titles in 5 years, the Champions League, the Club World Cup, the FA Cup, 2 League Cups and the UEFA Super Cup. However, life at the Santiago Bernabeu did not start as planned, as multiple injuries reduced his playing time. Xabi Alonso was also sacked as manager, adding to the discord, but he has featured in his side's last 9 games in all competitions. Liverpool has officially found a superstar. He's going to be their main man. Liverpool were brilliant against Galatasaray this week. They've officially found themselves a superstar. Arne Slot took a risk against Galatasaray as he stepped away from his usual 4-2-3-1 formation and played more of a 4-4-2. Gone were the wingers and the no.10 as they forced their way through the middle of the pitch. Both Hugo Ekitike and Mo Salah, the starting strikers, scored goals. Salah assisted Ekitike for his, in fact, but they weren't the players running the show here. That was Florian Wirtz, who announced here that he's a genuine superstar who will lead this team going forward. There can be no question he's the main man anymore. The Florian Wirtz show. The headline is that Wirtz created 8 chances in this one. That's the most by a Liverpool player in a UEFA Champions League fixture for a decade. But that might undersell how involved he was. A created chance can be a 2-yard pass that someone smashes in from 30 yards after all. And we'll get to his example of that. This was about more than the 8 chances. Wirtz had a free role here, gifted the licence to roam all over the pitch, looking to make things happen. He did just that, moving from the left to the right all game long. Ekitike's 17th 5-minute half chance was the result of Wirtz picking up the ball on the right-hand side of the box, dribbling on the byline and standing it up for the Frenchman. In 32 minutes, he drifted past players in the middle to set up a Dominic Szoboszlai shot from distance that forced a good save. And that was just the start. In 52 minutes, Wirtz played a delicate chip through the defence that allowed Salah a volley on goal. It was well saved, but Ryan Gravenberch put home the rebound. Then just 2 minutes later, Wirtz did the difficult work to send Jeremy Frimpong free down the right. The resulting cross hit the defender and went in for an own goal, only for VAR to disallow it for a tight offside. 61 minutes. Wirtz created the space for Salah's shot that brought a goal. This was the 2-yard pass, if that, but came on the end of a flurry of passes and a back heel. The German got involved and created that goal, even if the Egyptian did the hard bit. And there was more. Wirtz did brilliantly down the left on 84 minutes to create a chance for Cody Gakpo. He created another for Szoboszlai shortly afterwards by winning the ball back in a high press. All of this is just a flavour too. Wirtz offered even more, and we haven't actually touched on most of the 8 created chances. Ekitike, Salah, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Frimpong and Gakpo all directly benefited from Wirtz's work. He was as involved as can be. And the chief reason that Galatasaray couldn't cope with Liverpool, a star if ever there was one, Wirtz is the main man in this team and will be the reason they're feared going forward over the next few years. Liverpool has a key advantage over PSG in the Champions League that Chelsea was denied. Paris Saint-Germain thrashed Chelsea 8-2 in the Champions League last 16 after getting a League One fixture postponed, and they face Liverpool next in Europe. Paris Saint-Germain are reportedly unlikely to have their fixture against Lens postponed between the 2 legs of their Champions League encounter with Liverpool. PSG meet the Reds in the quarter-finals next month, with the first leg in Paris on April 8th. The French champions benefited from 5 days rest between both legs of their last 16 tie against Chelsea this month, after their request to postpone a League One fixture against Nantes was granted. Luis Enrique's side were scheduled to face struggling Nantes on the weekend of March 13th-15, sandwiched between their matches against Chelsea on Wednesday, March 11th and Tuesday, March 17th. However, that match was rescheduled to April 22nd instead, allowing them to concentrate fully on the knockout tie against Liam Rosenior's side. That decision proved fruitful, with PSG demolishing the Blues 8-2 across both legs. Many have questioned whether PSG will secure the same arrangement for their last 8 encounter with Arne Slot's team. The Parisians are scheduled to face title contenders Lens on April 11th, sandwiched between a 2-legged tie against the Reds. However, French football expert Matt Spiro suggests the European champions will not receive that same privilege against Liverpool. He claims Lens will not be entertaining any requests for postponement, and continues by suggesting that the fixture will stay in its current slot, as no alternative arrangement would make sense for Lens, where PSG presently top the French league table by a single point and hold a game in hand over second-placed Lens. Liverpool will be hoping to head into that clash against Enrique's outfit with momentum after demolishing Turkish outfit Galatasaray 4-0 on Wednesday evening, 4-1 on aggregate to advance. However, they face a challenging FA Cup quarter-final away at Manchester City just 4 days prior to the first leg in Paris. Despite this, Slot maintains he is relishing the prospect of taking on the side that eliminated his team on penalties in the last 16 last season. He said, if you go to the latter stages of the Champions League, then you know one thing for sure. You're going to face Paris Saint-Germain, because they are an incredible team. We have experienced that last season when we faced them away from home. A very, very, very difficult game here at Anfield. We played a fantastic game. I've said a lot of times how great a match that was, the best game I've managed in my career. Not the result, but it was the way football should be played. Both teams just playing football, just wanting to entertain the fans. We were the only team that brought them to extra time. We were the only team that brought them to penalties. That team has shown this season they haven't dropped a level, and we showed tonight against Galatasaray we can still perform at the level we were performing for large parts of last season. It gives me and us a lot of confidence that we have this performance, but it's not the first one this season. We've had more of them, especially in Europe, and we have to try to find the consistency. Although I can already disappoint people, this performance is hardly possible to copy one more time, because 5.02 xG on a Champions League night, whilst conceding 0.18, that's not going to be easy to copy that one more time. Liverpool, Man Utd, Chelsea and Aston Villa results predicted as top four decided Liverpool remains in contention for Champions League qualification as the race for the top four heats up, with Manchester United, Chelsea and Aston Villa all battling for the remaining spots. The scramble for the remaining Champions League spots behind Arsenal and Manchester City is intensifying. Traditionally, finishing fourth has been the benchmark to qualify for UEFA's top club competition. However, in recent times, an extra place has been given to the two nations that perform best across the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. Newcastle took advantage of this additional slot last season, and despite varied performances from English clubs in the Champions League knockout stage this term, it seems likely that fifth place will once again be enough to secure a spot at Europe's top table next season. Liverpool, along with Manchester United, Aston Villa and Chelsea, are all in the running, meaning at least one will miss out and have to settle for Europa League football. Liverpool.com predicts each club's remaining results and final position. Man Utd current position, third points, 55 goal difference plus 13 leads age. The visitors will be fighting for their Premier League survival, but shouldn't have enough to stop United. Prediction, United 2-0 leads. Chelsea a pivotal match that could go either way. A draw seems like a safe bet, which would be beneficial for Liverpool. Prediction, Chelsea 2-2 United. Brentford H. Keith Andrews' side have been amongst the season's surprise packages, but it's hard to see the West Londoners claiming anything from Old Trafford. Prediction, United 2 Brentford. Liverpool H. The Reds will be seeking revenge following October's defeat at Anfield. Prediction, United 1-1 Liverpool. Sunderland A. The Black Cats have declined in the second half of the campaign and United could take advantage. Prediction, Sunderland 0-2 United. Nottingham Forest H. With Forest battling for their Premier League survival, it's set to be a nervy encounter. Prediction, Forest 1-1 United. Brighton A. Seagull side comfortably settled in mid-table, is an ideal opponent for the final day. Prediction, Brighton 1-3 United. Final points, 70 Aston Villa, current position fourth, points 51, goal difference +3. West Ham H, the most informed side amongst the relegation battlers, won't be straightforward to overcome. Prediction, Villa 1-1, West Ham. Nottingham Forest A, a tricky away fixture, but given Forest's current struggle to score, Villa ought to claim the points. Prediction, Forest 0-1 Villa. Sunderland H, a must-win encounter in Villa's quest for a Champions League place. Prediction, Villa due -0, Sunderland. Fulham A, a difficult away trip against a dangerous Fulham outfit. Prediction, Fulham 2-1 Villa. Tottenham H, while Spurs are starting to demonstrate some fight, Villa should still emerge victorious. Prediction, Villa 2-1 Spurs. Burnley A, the Clarets ought to be relegated by then. Another must-win fixture. Prediction, Burnley 1-3 Villa. Liverpool H, another six-pointer in the Champions League battle. It could be a thriller. Prediction, Villa 2-2 Liverpool. Man City A, a daunting fixture on paper, but with City's title ambitions likely to be over by then, Villa have an opportunity to claim something. Prediction, 1-1 Villa. Final points, 66 Liverpool, current position fifth. Points 49, goal difference +9. Brighton A, buoyed by the victory over Galatasaray, the Reds should secure crucial 3 points. Prediction, Brighton 0-2 Liverpool. Fulham H, tricky opponents on their day, but Arne Slot's side should prevail. Prediction: Liverpool 2-1 Fulham. Everton A. The Reds' first visit to the Hill Dickinson Stadium will prove challenging. Prediction: Everton 1-1 Liverpool. Crystal Palace H. The Eagles will be completely safe by then, making them ideal opponents. Prediction: Liverpool 2-0 Palace. Man United A. See above. Prediction: United 1-1 Liverpool. Chelsea H. Against a Chelsea side looking increasingly chaotic, the Reds will hold the advantage. Prediction: Liverpool 3-1 Chelsea. Aston Villa A. See above. Villa 2-2 Liverpool. Brentford H. The Reds may face a stern test against the B side, potentially needing points to secure European football. Prediction: Liverpool 1-1 Brentford. Final points 65 Chelsea. Current position 6th. Points 48. Goal difference plus 18. Everton A. A difficult away match for a side still reeling from their Champions League setback. Prediction: Everton 2-1 Chelsea. Man City H. Chelsea could regroup to deal another blow to City's fading title ambitions. Prediction: Chelsea 1-1 City. Man United H. See above. Prediction: Chelsea 2-United. Brighton A. Vital 3 points required for the Blues. Prediction: Brighton 1-2 Chelsea. Nottingham Forest H. Forest are defensively robust but lack a cutting edge in attack. Anticipate a draw. Prediction: Chelsea 0-0 Forest. Liverpool A. See above. Prediction: Liverpool 3-1 Chelsea. Tottenham H. Chelsea would savour nothing more than sending Spurs down, and they might well do it. Prediction: Chelsea 2-0 Spurs. Sunderland A. The Blues can conclude the season with a win, but it may prove inadequate for Champions League qualification. Prediction: Sunderland 0-1 Chelsea. Final points 60 verdict. Should these outcomes transpire, United will clinch third spot with Villa and Liverpool, who may be distracted by European duties, completing the top 5. Chelsea appears set to miss out. Arne Slot has already got his perfect Andy Robertson replacement lined up. Andy Robertson's time with Liverpool feels like it's about to come to its natural end. The Scotsman has been one of the most iconic players to don the red of Liverpool over the last few years, with the fullback managing to win every trophy possible. The partnership that he and Trent Alexander-Arnold had for most of their Liverpool careers was second to none, and in their prime, nobody could even come close to them. However, as Robertson is now getting to the latter stages of his career, he's starting to lose a bit of speed, and, as last season showed, his time in the Premier League is almost certainly coming to an end. Indeed, he has been called upon by Arne Slot a fair few times this season. Now that Milos Kerkez has settled in, it's clear why the Dutchman wanted to bring him in. And since Robertson's contract is set to expire at the end of the campaign, it feels like an amicable way for both parties to split. However, the left-back's departure would leave a gap for Slot to fill, and now it seems like he's found the perfect player to come in and fill that void. Liverpool is eyeing a move for Antonee Robinson once again. Before Liverpool got the deal for Kerkez over the line, Antonee Robinson's name emerged as another potential target. The US international has been one of Fulham's best players over the last few years, and even though he may be 28 years old, there's no denying that he is an exceptional talent. However, since Kerkez was deemed the better option, Liverpool chose to go for him and keep Robertson around as a backup. But since he's now set to leave, more rumours have started to emerge, with Robinson's name being brought up as a potential target once again. That is, if a report from Court Offside is to be believed. Manchester United and Liverpool are among the transfer suitors for Fulham left-back Antonee Robinson, they wrote. Robinson is valued by United due to his experience in the Premier League, but there's the sense that £30-40M wouldn't represent great value for money, considering the player's age. Liverpool, meanwhile, is also exploring options at left-back after a slow start made by Milos Kerkez at Anfield since joining from Bournemouth last summer. Some sources have given mixed indications about how much of a priority this will be, but Robinson is thought to be one of the names being considered to come in at least to replace Andrew Robertson as a rotation option alongside Kerkez. Antonee Robinson would be an incredible signing for Liverpool. Although Robinson hasn't been in the best run of form this season, he's still a rather impressive player. The left-back has been a Premier League starter for many years now, and although some may think that he's missed his chance to get a big move, he still has a few years left of playing at the top level. Despite this, a fee worth around £30 million seems a tad steep, especially since he'd only be a backup option for Liverpool. Many more areas among the Reds' ranks could do with upgrading before their left back, but that doesn't mean a move for Robinson shouldn't be explored. There's obviously plenty of time for changes to occur at Anfield, and plans can obviously change, but at the moment, a move for Robinson could genuinely be on the cards.